Basically, this is Origin. It's Origin of Logos. He's like this absolute sped, man. It's like crazy. This guy is like absolutely room temp IQ, spurg, mouth breather, actual mouth breather. You can tell from the physiognomy.
The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against to the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. Let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights and one-night cheap hotels.
Can't have a tune with Down syndrome.
Sawdust restaurants with oyster shells. Streets that follow like a tedious argument of insidious
recessed lower and upper mandible. Oh no.
intent to lead you to an overwhelming question. Oh, do not ask, what is it? Let us go and make our visit.
Oh, can we put him into the... What's the incel website called? What's the face analysis website? Incel.tech. Alright. Let's get a good shot. Let's give him a fair shake here. Let's give him a fair shake. Let's run it through.
Let us...
How do I get rid of this stuff here? We're just gonna have to do it live, aren't we? Yeah. There's still these gay controls on this. Why are there the gay controls here? I don't get it. Okay, whatever. We'll just screenshot it like this. Fuck it. Origin. Saved image, as it should be. Okay, what's the result going to be here? Let's see. This is huge. We are doing crazy science right now. Okay, we're getting some shocking results here, honestly. Okay, what's the results? Let's see. Mid-face ratio. Slightly too compact mid-face. Measurement of 1.06. Ideal 1 to 1.05. Facial width to height ratio. Perfect. Not a bit. Listen. He's pulled it off. Facial width to height ratio hit. Now, slight problem though. Chin to philtrum ratio. Extremely short philtrum. 3.04 when the ideal range is 2 to 2.25. That's rough. Perfect canthal tilt. Amazing. Amazing. Great to see. Nose to mouth ratio. Perfect. That's great. That's great. Right in the sweet spot. Bigonial width. Noticeably narrow. A little bit out of the range. Well, that's rough. Lip ratio. Extremely uneven lips. Whoa. You can see it. You can see it. Eye separation ratio. Noticeably close together eyes. Hunter eyes. Predator eyes. Eye separation ratio. Eye to mouth angle. Slightly too wide apart eyes. But lower third height. Perfect. Amazing. Amazing. Palpable fissure length. Noticeably exposed eye. What is the palpable fissure? What does that mean? I don't even know what the palpable fissure is. That's a new one for me. Is that the eye width? Like how big his eyes are? Yeah, this is Incel.tech, okay? Yeah, this is Jet Neptune's retarded brother, okay? Let's see who this is. Let's get us back on normal speed.
Spread out against to the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. Let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights and one-night cheap hotels and sawdust.
Okay. All right, what else have we got here?
Hey everyone. Apparently Cormac McCarthy has passed away today. As you all know, Cormac McCarthy is my favorite author, and when I read an article, or one of the many articles that came out today that he had passed away, I really didn't know how to react. Whenever anyone passes away that I'm familiar with, whether it be a friend, family member, or someone who I respect, who's a celebrity of any kind, or is a writer, or just someone I happen to know, I don't really get upset or even depressed. I feel more numb. Not necessarily empty, but like a feeling that something is just kind of, like a crater has just entered into me, but that nothing...
It would look good with a hat, wouldn't he? I feel like a straw hat would go hard on this guy. Who was that guy on Bridges who wore a straw hat? I feel like he looked good with a straw hat and then looked terrible without one. Yeah, they still do this podcast. It's crazy. Who was it? He's not even on there. This guy.
On to the second.
Yeah, see, like he could be looking like this. But he's not. He could be looking like this. Instead, he's looking like this. This is what looks maxing can do for you. This is what looks maxing can do. That's crazy. He could be this. He could be this.
Feels it and nothing really leaves out of it. It's just a crater of some kind. And I really don't know what to say exactly, because you would think that him being my favorite author that I would have something really moving to say, but I really don't know what to say. Other than his style and his voice and his philosophical and religious and humanistic depth is going to be missing. And I don't think anyone will be able to replicate it. And the world is a sadder place now. But
Jurassic Park research type
that's kind of the tragic irony and hubris when it comes to saying, like, oh.
Okay, well, I think we get the... Listen. This guy's a super self-serious, thinks he's an academic, is actually just a fucking internet loser. I mean, who cares? Who knows? He might do some fucking academic shit in real life. But he is a loser on the internet. And he goes from chat to chat to chat. Just bitching and whining about President Sunday. You're like, President Sunday, you're scamming your audience because you pretend that you care about doing politics, but really all you care about is drama. You're scamming your audience, and I have to expose you. Dude, President Sunday is doing drama streams like every other day. I think his audience know what they're watching. I think they can see what they're watching. They know what's going on. They want to see him cover drama. They want to see him talk about politics. It just comes off as bitter. Like, this guy thinks he could be President Sunday.
All right, guys, another book review, and this one is something very special because this is a novelist that I have all the books to on my bookshelf. And
some very flamboyant
I greatly
hand motions I'm noticing here as well.
This writer because he, different from other Spanish writers.
This is autism. Yeah, I've diagnosed it immediately. Okay, well, with that in mind, we're gonna watch him talking to President Sunday. Okay, President Sunday jumped on Tom's stream to argue with this guy because this guy was like in chat, just like I don't even know what was he saying. He was like just bitching and whining, just the usual shit about President Sunday, I think. And then President Sunday was like, "If you donate $100 to Tom, then I'll stop streaming on Twitch for the rest of the year." Obviously, Sunday doesn't even stream on Twitch, I don't think so. Sunday is the king of having no credibility, and now he's telling Connor he has no credibility. But, okay. You're not employed whatsoever, lol. Yeah, the problems with Connor's statement isn't some new revelation here, lol. Onug. What fucking evidence does Sunday have that PV isn't actually pushing for leftist agendas? This is all bullshit speculation. Aren't they explicitly progressive liberals? Not leftists, I thought. What do you mean? Here's the issue with Sunday. He's criticizing Connor for working with people that he doesn't share 100% beliefs with. That's what people have to do to work in politics. It's not... The point was being made. We're talking about like Vosh and shit. It's not about sharing 100% beliefs. Connor would have thought that guy was a pedophile like 6 months ago. Well, it's not about inviting... It was about inviting positive discussions as a hope for changing the political landscape, right? However, he can do this... He cannot do this because he only likes people who toe his narrow line. Only likes people who toe his narrow line. Does Spicy Chat toe Sunday's narrow line? Seems to get on fine in there. I think he's just sick of gay losers like you, Origin. That's what it sounds like. Sunday is sad. I'm not sending him my hard-earned money so he can use it to buy books, more books he'll never read. Lol. I mean, you're just, what? So he's mad that you used to donate to Sunday and then he realized that Sunday only cares about drama, or that Sunday has to do drama to make the fucking channel keep moving. Like, really?
Bitch, and he's a liar and a fraud. So it's funny that he likes to go after people's careers and professions and reputations, saying that they lie about their credentials, but he calls himself a political scientist, even though you actually have to attain.
He said that's only to be employed by the government as one. Political scientist.
Oh, yeah. So I get that the argument here is basically they're trying to be like, oh, Sunday, you're a hypocrite because you call out other people for faking credentials, but you're faking your credentials. And the argument is they found some website where in Canada it says, I guess, I mean, we'll let them argue it, but yeah, it's just kind of retarded because I don't think President Sunday would have any problem if Erudite just said she was a psychologist. I have a bachelor's in psychology. I'm a psychologist. I do psychology. I'm doing research in psychology. I'm a psychologist. I don't think anyone's got a problem with that sort of usage. But then when you've got specific titles or controlled titles, or you've got nothing to back them up at all. Like if Sunday was saying he's a political scientist, and he was like, I don't know, didn't even have a bachelor's, had never... like had no experience whatsoever. Like, yeah, okay, then we can start talking about, okay, well, how the fuck are you a political scientist? But even then, it's not like there's a crime being committed or something. It's just fucking embarrassing. It's just like, it was kind of embarrassing anyway. It comes off to me like President Sunday adopted this political scientist thing when he was way more, like, you know, high on his own supply, maybe. Way more serious. Way more like, oh, I'm a leftist streamer, you know. We're spreading leftism right now. Whereas now he's sort of like, you know, politics, entertainment, I think. And he's less, I don't know, it just feels like a holdover from that, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't think Sunday needs to call himself a political scientist to sell himself. Disgusting how Sunday tricks his viewers into filling the drama meter instead of a theory meter.
Pre-exists Canada and is like calling myself a philosopher.
I'm going to say that's bullshit.
I don't know if that's true, but
I mean, that what Sunday's saying is true, but it's also really gay to call yourself a philosopher if you're not like actually writing or researching in the field, right? It is kind of just gay.
Say that's bullshit.
I don't know if that's true, but you realize that is what I said with the fucking
wait. I honestly, sorry, I'm having a moment. I actually thought I'd convinced. Maybe I didn't say this on stream. Off stream, I'd convinced myself that this whole Tom thing, the backgrounds with the emojis, I'd convinced myself that was deliberate. That was just to troll me and J-Stalk. I'd convinced myself into thinking that he just did this stupid emoji background where he can press buttons and have the emojis come to life. I thought that was a deliberate. I ended up tricking myself into thinking this was a deliberate thing that because I never saw it again. I thought it was just a one-time gag that he just brought it up just to troll. But no, he's using it a second time now. I have seen this now a second time. He is actually using this. That's insane. He's even added new stuff to it. It goes black and white now.
Calling myself a philosopher.
I'm going to say that's bullshit.
I don't know if that's true, but you realize that is what I said with the fucking.
Okay, he wasn't joking with this stuff.
You realize
I really thought this was a joke.
That is what I said with the fucking linguist shit, and I could have sworn you jumped on that bandwagon saying
the linguist shit.
He said that's only to be employed by the government as one. Political scientist pre-exists Canada and is like calling myself a philosopher.
I'm going to say that's bullshit.
I don't know if that's true, but you realize that is what I said with the fucking linguist shit, and I could have sworn you jumped on that.
No, Tom said several different things with the linguist stuff. He said, not just that he's a linguist. He said, I'm a linguist. I've wrote papers on this. This is what I do. And he said linguist by trade as well at one point. I'm rhetoric coach and debate coach. He didn't just say linguist. That's not true, first of all. And second of all, I don't think those are the same thing at all. I don't think those are the same thing. Because President Sunday's got a bachelor's. President Sunday does have an undergrad in that field. That's not the same as just saying you're a linguist because you wrote scripts for cold calling at Pizza Hut. That's not the same thing at all. Those are not the same thing. He's never presented any evidence that they've been used in colleges. I've actually asked people to verify that, and no one's been able to verify it. Like people that speak to Tom.
That bandwagon saying that I was lying about that shit, but maybe not. I could be misremembering it, but yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, you could literally just speak more than one language and call yourself a philosopher. Me actually working in linguistics is still more than that, but okay.
Wait, what was the first part he said? It's something about a government role or something?
He said that was only for a government position, but I could have sworn. Let's see, Canada.
You know what I'm going to do actually? Now that if that's what he's actually going to stick on, I'm going to ask my political scientist friend, who actually is one, if that's going to stick, and we'll see how that.
Well, I'm going to ask my political scientist friend if that's. Yeah, I imagine they would be like, yeah, if Sunday's not working in the field, it's pretty retarded for him to call himself a political scientist. But what do you think that proves? Yeah, like anyone's going to feel that way if they're in the field. Is he misleading people anyway? No, he's saying that I'm a political scientist. I talk about political science and I've got a bachelor's in political science. That's not misleading people anyway.
That lands.
Because I know in the United States...
It is retarded for him to call himself it. It's absolutely self-important. He's huffing his own shit. But it's not... I don't think there's any deception going on.
Didn't say for okay, yeah, you jump in to the waiting room, I will pull you in. But when I looked at the United States one, it wasn't just for government.
Oh God, you're actually going to bring his dumbass in here?
Well, I don't know how to hold somebody's feet to the fire that can just disappear from chat whenever. But if they're on here, then
I don't know. If he has some actual evidence, like actual proof that he's actually doing stuff like that, that would...
Well, proof that he's... I don't think he's ever claimed to do anything more than just have a bachelor's, right? Has he claimed anything more? I don't think so, right?
Be interesting.
Well, I don't even know about that, because I think he's already said that he has a bachelor's. And
yeah,
that doesn't matter. Just having a bachelor's does not make you a political scientist.
Well, I mean... No, I agree. It's retarded for Sunday to call himself a political scientist, but there's no... what's Origin's own here? Is Sunday really a political scientist? No, he's like a YouTube political scientist. Well, yeah, I mean, I already said that. I think they've got the wrong end of the stick of a website that's told them that the requirements for some government job are, as a political scientist, are that you need to have like a master's or some shit and experience. But that's not going to be just the definition of saying you're a political scientist. Well, yeah, I mean, okay. That's how it'd be different from Erudite See the Goat. I would agree with that he's not selling services on that basis. Like if Sunday was doing one-on-one consultations where you pay $60 for Sunday to talk to you and tell you what the best leftist theory for you is, like, okay, then we can talk about the deception for selling services in comparison to Erudite, reverse Asian moment. Then it would be comparable, but it's better to compare it to the linguist stuff, I think. It's probably better to compare it to that. But then with the linguist comparison, I don't think it's even a good comparison there, because Tom's not got a bachelor's. Tom's not got an undergrad. Sunday does in that field. So it's like, even then, Sunday's got way more claim to it than Tom does. Like, yeah, they're not controlled titles. They're not like titles that you have to necessarily meet a certain threshold to be able to call yourself. But I think for most people, if they heard one person say, I'm a linguist, I've written papers on this, and then you ask them a bit further and they say, I worked at Pizza Hut doing, or a law firm or whatever, doing cold calling scripts, they could be like, oh, well, that's kind of bullshit. If you say you're a political scientist, and then they go, oh, what does that mean? They're like, oh, I do YouTube videos about politics, and I studied political science at university. They could be like, okay, well, you're not really a political scientist, but I get what you're saying. Like, that's the reaction that's going to happen, right? I think you can generally get away with those base level titles as long as you've got the undergrad. Generally, I'd say. Generally. But then, can you? I'm kind of throwing... I'm back and forth on that. Origin has issue with Sunday because he went after Erudite. Tom's claims were called into question because of a variety of lies and mistruths, yeah. Yeah, Erudite was like claiming... I don't think... Sorry, Jesus Christ. I don't think Erudite would have gotten any flack for calling herself a psychologist. Right, I think Sunday's issue... Sunday's issue was with the claim of having like a master's, or having something equivalent to a master's in this other field, when it wasn't really, that wasn't quite necessarily true. It's like, it's alluding to a degree you don't necessarily have, versus using a fancy name for, or using sort of like a bit, putting your foot down a bit too confidently because of the degree you do have. It's like two different things. They are. I think there is a distinction there.
That's what I'm saying. But I suppose, okay. To be clear, this is, I'm giving my personal opinion. If somebody did work,
why did you say Chud raided me in the end stream like 2 hours ago?
Did real work as a political scientist, and I don't mean like on stream, but like they actually held a position as a political scientist somewhere, then I would say that, yeah, that would be good enough, regardless of whether or not they had a higher degree.
Nah, that's actually not how it would work.
Sunday.
IDO.
So you do have a bachelor's in political science, right?
I do. It doesn't really matter, though.
Okay, but you say that you did work in poli-sci?
Did work in poli-sci? I've never been employed as a political scientist, no.
Yeah, I've never heard somebody claim that.
So then what is it that you think makes the difference here?
Well, the difference would be that I do political science as an activity. So it's sort of like someone who does philosophy as an activity. Now, if you want to be employed as a teacher of philosophy, there's probably going to be some credentialed requirements to do so. But to simply say that I engage in political science as an activity, there's no credential requirement for that. Political science has long existed, and you have the credential requirements in order to teach as one. If I wanted to work for the government, like say I wanted to apply to a post at a high school or a university or something and call myself a political scientist, I'd have to have an MA or something like that for it. But I'm not citing political scientist as a credential. I'm citing political scientist as a thing that I do.
Yeah, as an experience. I understand that, but it does say.
So what you will never hear me say is I know what I'm talking about because I'm a political scientist. I say I'm a political scientist because.
Wait, that's kind of that's like a jab at Erudite and Tom there, isn't it? Because they've both said some shit like that. They've both said some shit like that. Do we have the Tom Mega? I do.
Where'd your definition come from?
Oh, okay, so I work in linguistics.
It ignored science and people specialists.
No, it doesn't. Okay, I work in linguistics. Definitions, we come to definitions based on colloquial usages. Okay, gender is a word that we.
I don't know about argument doing the philosophy thing. No, there's loads of like debate nerds on Discord that call themselves philosophers. Absolutely, there is.
Because it ignored science and people specialists.
No, it doesn't. Okay, I work in linguistics. Definitions, we come to definitions based on colloquial usages. Okay, gender is a word that we use to describe masculinity and femininity. And so with masculinity and femininity, those are words that we use to describe what is more likely from a male or what is more likely from a female, or just what we generally associate with it, like social, what do you call it? Like social norms. I have papers on this. I have videos that are used in colleges and in universities. Like gender is my
papers on this. I have videos that are used in colleges and universities. So you mean it means a professor emailed him once, was like, "Oh, can I show that?" Oh, like a fucking high school teacher was like, "Can I show this can I show this my students? Can I show this in class?"
I would love to see them and read them.
Someone claiming to be a professor.
I can send them to you. Yes, I can send it to you. This is my.
Where's this gender doc? Where's this gender doc as well? Man, this gender doc is so funny. With the chair diagram, oh man, it goes so hard.
Political science content, and I talk about that. So
a real paper, guys.
You're saying that you
real
whole paper like an authority that you would claim it as an experience.
Also,
no chance that happened. You're being too charitable. Well, I mean, yeah, I haven't seen any evidence for it, so.
I mean,
to be honest with you, I think actually calling myself a political scientist probably sends up a red flag that I don't know what I'm talking about. Political science is
That's not wrong.
Even if that is true, I'm not going to say if that's true or not because I'm not in that field, so I never researched into it. But that's a bit odd that you would label yourself as I'm a political scientist on literally everything you do. I mean, I have a bachelor's in English. I'm not going to go around saying I'm an English teacher, or I'm a professor, or I am an expert in.
Well, those were much different claims. Wait, he just changed that completely.
Literally everything you do. I mean, I have a bachelor's in English. I'm not going to go around saying I'm an English teacher. I'm an
English teacher, as in I have a specific job. I'm a professor. I have a specific job with specific requirements.
Or I am an expert in English.
I'm an expert in English. I mean, you probably could argue that. I mean, you look retarded. You would look retarded. You would be doing like the policy level expert argument, being like, well, I'm expert in this context. You would look really retarded doing it. But you wouldn't be like breaking the law, and you wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be explicitly against the definition. You wouldn't be explicitly lying. You're just clearly too full of yourself, delusional about your level of knowledge. But you could argue it. You could draw a line there.
I mean, that would be very embarrassing, to be honest with you. But
well, okay, because I'm not going to lie about
if what you're trying to get at is that there is some kind of parity between my calling myself a political scientist and Kyla calling herself a psychometrist, and then claiming that is a degree that she doesn't have, like a master's degree or an equivalent.
Yeah, this is the exact thing, right? Sunday says, I'm a political scientist. I have an undergrad in political science. That's a very specific claim. There's no room for misinterpretation there. There's no room for misinterpretation. There's no deceit. That is an incredibly simple, straightforward claim that makes sense. He's not saying he's a good political scientist. He's not even saying he's an expert in political science. He's just saying a political scientist and has an undergrad in political science. That is like way more honest and straightforward. He does kind of use that credential because he puts it on his profiles, but he never brings it up. He never says it. I've never heard him bring it up, but it's on his profiles. It's not like he's walking around in arguments. Like Erudite and Tom have both done this thing in arguments where they'll say, listen, I know what I'm talking about. I am your expert. I know this subject. And it's like, okay, so how much do you actually know about this subject? Oh, you don't actually have any background in linguistics? You just wrote some scripts for a company cold calling? Okay, all right, man. Well, you wrote a document about gender that you posted? Okay, man. Okay, man. Or when Not So Erudite suggests that a graduate diploma is equivalent to a master's or whatever it was. Like, okay, but it's not really, is it? It's not really at all.
And then saying on the basis of that she's an expert and you should defer to her, I'm going to have to flatly disagree with you. Me describing myself as a political scientist and not using...
Again, I don't even like care to sweep for Sunday on this. I think it's like mad gay that he's using this political scientist label. I think it is just like a selling point that he came up with when he was a bit more, self-serious. I think he probably could do away with it. But I just don't think it's like some grave... I think it's some crazy hypocrisy or grave moral wrong that's going on here. That seems really dumb to me. I don't think it's really hypocritical at all. I don't even know if Sunday jumped on Tom for the linguist stuff, did he? He pressed him about it once or twice.
As a credential is an entirely different thing from claiming a credential that someone doesn't have in a health-related field and then claiming expertise on the basis of that.
I think you're playing a slippery slope right here, and it's not really even that clear-cut. And I don't even call Kyla an expert. I would never even address her like that.
Well,
but that was also a bit of a diversion. What?
Kyla calls Kyla an expert origin. Who cares what you think?
I mean, that's facts.
Even if she does, I'm not going to have to base it on actual evidence that I see. And also, what you said before, hold on 1 second. Wait, hold on.
Hang on.
I want to finish what I'm saying because
but this is important.
Every time, no, hold on. I'm going to finish what I'm saying. You always interrupt. But anyway, what you said was that Kyla was over here. Well, actually, what'd you say again? Because you're interrupting me. You actually made me lose my train of thought. Repeat what you said.
Well, you can just keep on going with what you were saying.
He said that Kyla claims to be an expert. He does not claim to be an expert.
No, he also said, now I remember, he said that Kyla pretends that she had a degree of psychometrics, even though that was not the original case that you made against her. The original case you made against her was that she was saying psychometry, but then you went to this Wikipedia page of it being like, psychometry is this woo-woo thing, and that was your original claim, so don't try to pivot on it. That was your original claim.
You're confused.
No, I'm not confused whatsoever.
But you're very confused. I can.
No, not really, Sunday.
No, quite actually. See, the reason why I pointed out that psychometry is not the technically correct word is because that means that she didn't get that term from the document of her degree, because she doesn't have one. She doesn't have a document that says psychometry on it.
Well, hold on. You did say you did show
she has
in the video that
she has a, what is it? It's a graduate diploma in psychological assessment, isn't it? I think
so. It doesn't.
You
matter,
did show in the video that psychometry was a woo-woo thing in the video.
Psychometry is a woo-woo thing.
However, you pulled up the Wikipedia and showed it as
Kyla is correct because of how similar the words are, and
oh my god, dude, this whole thing really doesn't. Sunday knows this. I thought Sunday knows. Okay, it's all about the psychometry versus psychometrics thing, right? Where one of them is like talking to ghosts and the other one is like writing statistical tests for psychological assessment. Yeah, a graduate diploma is just going to be like a shorter, less intensive course that you take after graduate. I mean, obviously, I don't know what you mean. WTF is a graduate diploma. It's pretty fucking obvious what a graduate diploma is, dude. I don't know what that question is. Like, why I bothered answering that?
Saying in the
psychometry
video.
Is a woo-woo thing.
You pulled up the Wikipedia and showed it as
Kyla is correct because of how similar the words are, and because, like, you know, grammatically it seems to work. You could say like psychometry in the same breath as saying psychometrics or something of that sort, because they sound more or less the same, and people do in fact use the words interchangeably. But what you will not find is a document, certainly not one in Canada, saying this is a master's in psychometry. First of all, because you actually can't get one in Canada, but secondly, because that wouldn't actually be the correct term. So the reason I would point that out is to sort of nudge a little bit, kind of highlight that, hey.
Yeah, so wait, they think that Sunday thinks psychometry, or what Erudite was talking about, is the talking to ghost thing. Like, they don't understand what the point was. Sunday was bringing it up because Erudite keeps misspeaking. There were several times where Erudite called it psychometry, but psychometry is talking to ghosts. Psychometrics is the thing that she does, or that she claims to do.
When she's, you know, calling herself these things, she's not doing so on the basis of an actual piece of paper that she has. She's being a little fast and loose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think she admitted that at least the degree part, that she was playing fast and loose by saying that she had the degree because she had
Yeah, my point isn't that you have those in the US. I wasn't saying you should know what they are because you have them in the US. I was saying you should know what they are because it's pretty obvious from looking at the combination of words what it would be, but that's okay.
A graduate.
Well, she flat out said that she had a graduate degree, which is wrong.
Hey, yeah, Tom, can we actually
that's what I'm saying. With the degree part, I think she said that she agreed that it was fast and loose, but she said afterwards that like she had an equivalent to it, and so that's why she was playing fast and loose.
That's also incorrect. She doesn't have.
Tom, can we actually address the heart of the issue here, because he's pivoting all the way to Kyla again? Because
what's the heart of the issue?
Well, if that's what we're making it equivalent
hang on, Tom. Origin.
If that's the equivocation.
No, hang on, Origin. You got me here. What's the heart of the issue?
The heart of the issue was I came on to ask you about where you got your credentials to be known as a political scientist. And now that you came on to explain that, instead of actually kind of getting in more into arguments with us about that, you want to pivot to Kyla. Who gives a fuck about Kyla right now? And your example that you said, like, oh, I'm just doing an activity. I'm a political science because I'm into theory. Bullshit, bitch. If you don't have a master's in this and you actually have some research and you haven't actually done any field work in this, you're not a political scientist.
Hey, Origin,
you can play fast and loose all you want, but you're full of shit.
Yeah, Origin, you're a fan of Plato and Aristotle, right?
So wait, okay. Well, I hope Origin keeps the standard. Tom called himself a linguist. Erudite calls herself a fucking psychometrist. You know, I'm fine with that definition if this guy wants to use that definition. the masters and some research. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think that is the sort of thing that I would hope to see if someone's going around calling themselves like either a political scientist or a psychologist or a linguist, or I would kind of hope they've got like a master's and a bit of research. That is kind of what I'm looking for. That is kind of what I'm looking for. But Sunday is like, he's right to say it's not a controlled title. I have a bachelor's. I don't claim to have anything else. The issue, my issue with other people is when they claim to have things they don't have. I just don't think it's that good of an attack.
Yes, I am. I read them.
Yeah, you do. You're very smart. Who began political science?
It was Plato, arguably.
Okay. Did he have a master's in political science?
No, but this is, again,
but he was a political scientist, yes? What about,
this is the diversion, dude. This you're thinking about this in
it's not a diversion.
No, yes, it is. Let me explain how it's actually a diversion.
Walk with me a little bit. I'll give you. Fine. I'll give you a more modern case. Carl Schmitt. Did he have a master's in political science?
I'm actually not sure on that case. I haven't researched much into him, so I can't say.
I'm actually not sure off the top of my head. I'm going to double check. Let me see here. If I go into his education, academic career, here we go. I actually don't think they did those in Germany at the time. It was something else. Yeah, they wouldn't have done it in Germany at the time because it's American political science is a 20th century thing.
May I ask you a question? May I ask you a question then?
Go for it, yeah.
Okay, so you wanted to ask me if Plato is considered a political scientist, even though if you and I should both know this at least. I hope we both know this, that back then they didn't have the concept of political scientists in the way of we have degrees here in the 21st century in Western civilization. And we have to have modern standards.
Well, the notion of episteme politikon is very old. We actually get the term from the Greek to translate.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the etymology of where it comes from. I'm talking about the modern usage on how we actually set up, how we become experts in a field, or how we earn degrees to be considered something.
Yeah, the Canadian...
Well, Sunday's not even claiming to be an expert, is he? Sunday doesn't claim to be an expert.
In government's regulations on who can teach.
Why can they not just keep it on track with what he's actually claimed?
Considered a political scientist in the West.
What's Spurg?
I don't know where you're getting that notion from.
Well, I'm getting this because you brought up the example of that Plato was considered the first political scientist, so therefore he was a political scientist. So now you're trying to conflate this, that you don't actually have to have a degree.
What I'm pointing out... Well, no, what I'm pointing...
let me finish this before you... Let me finish this. So you were trying to make a deflection. You're trying to make an ambiguity here that, well, because Plato was a political scientist and they didn't have degrees back then just doing the activity of doing into political theory, it makes you a political scientist, and that's bullshit.
Well, it's not actually. What I'm pointing out is that political scientist as a designation.
Oh, I can be a political scientist?
Beg your pardon?
So I can call myself a political scientist in a few days or in a few weeks or months?
I mean, you could call yourself one right now. I just don't think it'd be a very good one.
Oh, so your standard for a political scientist is pretty much nothing. Okay, that's
so you'll look here. Tom's actually got on the screen here. So professional philosophers and ethicists typically have graduate degrees.
What's Logos have a degree in? Apparently an undergrad in English.
Philosophy or at least related field. But you would not, for example, consider someone to be a fraud if they call themselves a philosopher who didn't have a graduate degree. There are, in fact, many people who write for philosophical journals that don't have graduate degrees in philosophy.
You say that one more time? I didn't hear the last part you said.
I said there are people in all sorts of fields, for example, who will write in the fields of philosophy or even political science or so on and so forth, and they don't have graduate degrees in those fields, yet they are considered such.
Wait, it's Tom saying, look at Tom sitting there Googling what you need to be a fucking linguist. Look at this shit.
So I just noticed a political scientist in a few days or in a few weeks or months.
What are the credentials of a philosopher? Professional philosophers and ethicists typically have graduate degrees, master PhD, philosophy, ethics, or related disciplines.
No, I just don't think it'd be a very good one.
Oh, so your standard for a political scientist is pretty much
It's typically a fraud, philosophical journal, fields of philosophy,
What is the linguist category?
and all sorts of fields. For
Wait, that's a different question now.
example, who will
He's changed the question.
write in the fields of
That's about linguistic categories. That's not linguist. That's not what a linguist is, Tom.
philosophy or even political science or so on and so forth. And they don't have graduate degrees in.
It's about linguistic category. That's the concept of categories in linguistics.
And you're saying philosophy, right?
Well, it's just one example.
And you're saying philosophy, right?
Well, it's just one example. When you're dealing with the liberal arts, like the compartmentalization of the liberal arts is relatively recent. These things all used to be combined. Political science used to be combined with philosophy, political economy, et cetera, et cetera.
I understand this. I understand this, but we're talking about a long time.
Licensed linguist? Oh no, Tom.
We're talking about a few centuries
Get your license, Tom.
Right now, there's also not a problem with calling.
I want to look up what.
Now, if I said
what answer do you actually
I
get?
was a credentialed
He's not really showing us
political
that.
scientist, you'd have an issue. If I was using political scientist as a credential, and I was saying on the basis of being a political scientist, you have to listen to me, that would be the case. But I've never done so. I challenge you to find a single case where I've done so.
I don't even think I need to make that case. I think the fact that you're just calling yourself a political scientist without even having the basic credentials to actually be considered that is a bit sneaky.
You don't require credentials to be a political scientist. You can
again.
The preferred credential for political scientists is a master's or doctoral degree in political science or related science. I mean, yeah. 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 Preferred. Yes, I agree. Generally, if someone's calling themselves something related to a field, especially like a humanities research field, you know, one where you're fucking meant to write a bunch of essays, generally, you're expecting like a master's. Sunday has a bachelor's, so he's kind of bullshitting, but he never claims he has more than a bachelor's, so he's not really a fraud. Tom has never had any education in linguistics. When can you call yourself a linguist? Who would be considered a linguist? Employers require at least a bachelor's degree in linguistics, English, or a foreign language. I mean, there's people basically making Tom's argument in this Reddit thread I can see. And then just like other people being like, no, dude. You should probably have some kind of formal education. You can't just do linguistics. Oh, man. Yeah, I just don't. Again. What's the source for what? Source for what? The political science stuff. Yeah, Tom has no formal education. He has no formal education. It's just bullshit. It's like even the bachelors, you're bullshitting a little bit by saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a political scientist." No, this isn't some. I think this is just generally for jobs. I don't think this is like a law thing or anything. Yeah, you're bullshitting a little bit with an undergrad. You're already bullshitting there. You are bullshitting. But to say it with nothing, that's just nuts. Pretty crazy. Anyway, let's carry on with this.
And you do now again. They're actually, my gosh, it's like I'm talking to someone who's not even listening or who's just trying to make
in order to be employed by the government, in order to be employed by the Canadian government as a political scientist, you have to have.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing as well, right? Is if he had been employed as a linguist, like he was doing like some kind of like actual linguistics like research or like writing actual papers, sure. But no, when he says I write papers, he means his fucking gender doc and some scripts for cold calling. That's not like the scripts for cold calling. That's not linguistics. You were doing marketing. Like, be fucking honest here. You were not doing the academic side of it. You were doing the corporate applied side. As you weren't writing academic research papers. You were looking at other people's academics. Anyway.
Master's or a doctoral degree.
And again, you don't have either. So
no, but I'm not. I don't
call
claim
yourself
to be employed as a. I don't claim to be employed as a political scientist.
But you call yourself a political scientist, dude. Yeah. Just own it, dude. Just admit that you shouldn't be calling yourself that. Just call yourself like to actually. This could be better for you, and this is actually me trying to help you out here a little bit better. Even though I don't know why I'm doing this. Instead of calling yourself a political scientist, why don't you just call yourself? I'm a thinker. I'm someone who likes to delve into political issues. I take this stuff seriously. You don't have to just call yourself a political scientist, because that may actually confuse some people who don't know any better. It's like, this guy actually has the expertise. He probably has he may have went to get a graduate degree, and he probably knows his shit. So it seems a little disingenuous that you would call yourself that, but now you're trying to get all nuanced now, but it doesn't make any difference. Like, we know what it is. We have to be a political scientist. And I actually have a political scientist friend who would actually probably challenge you on this.
So do I. I've had political science professors on my channel, as a matter of fact.
Sure, then we can probably talk with them as well about this.
Well, they'd probably be annoyed that I'm calling myself a political scientist because they're senior to me by several decades. And that's always
why would they be annoyed?
But
why would they be annoyed,
there's
though?
no ethical issue whatsoever with calling myself a political scientist.
But why would they be annoyed with that? If there's no ethical issue, why would they be annoyed?
Well, because it's sort of like if you've been studying philosophy for like 50 years and you've got a person just out of their undergrad, maybe 5 years out, and they're calling themselves a philosopher. It's a little bit funny, right?
Then why do it?
You're going to laugh at them because they're like, oh. Yeah,
then why do it?
What do you mean why do it?
Okay, you just gave a different example. You just said that, let's say, like, there's
because I do content concerned with political science. That's a thing that I do.
That's fine. And look, that's totally
so the
fine.
activity I engage in is political science. So I call myself.
When was the last time you actually did a political scientist essay, by the way?
It's been a little bit. Like a year, I think.
Why so long?
Oh, because I've been reading a lot of stuff.
Are you sure it's because of that?
Oh, I'm very sure it's because of that. It's kind of wrecked my whole flow because a lot of the stuff I sort of presumed as the bedrock of what I do, sort of like the intellectual foundation of what I do, has been kind of undermined by the stuff I've been reading. So I'm upgrading a lot.
Are you sure you haven't just been spending your time obsessing over Brianna Wu and other bullshit drama that means literally nothing in the grand scheme of things?
Like, this guy's just like, his whole thing is just being mad at Sunday for covering drama too much. Bro, hop off his dick. Let man's pay his rent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Like, dude,
quite a bit more than that, actually. This is one of the reasons why I'm talking about the books that I am reading constantly on stream. It's one of the reasons why I do readings of political science and philosophy and theory texts on stream fairly on the regular. This is why I'm getting through like hundreds of pages of Bergson and Bataille one at the moment. So yeah, no, I do quite a bit. You'll notice my streams are actually fairly on the short side. I spend most of my time reading otherwise.
Well, if that is the case, why not just focus on that? Why not?
This now is a great time to remind you. Please like, subscribe, donate, buy a membership, gift membership, buy a super chat if you can. Thank you.
Ignore the drama bullshit, because it seems like, because I remember back when I used to be in your community, you said that you had a lot of health issues and you had sleeping issues. I don't know. This is just me guessing. Okay, maybe I'm totally wrong, but maybe you can help me out on this. I'm guessing that maybe you focusing on this drama bullshit and obsessing over people's lives is probably taking a toll on your mental health.
I'm not obsessing over people's lives. No, it's taking a toll on my mental health as I'm staying up till like 3 a.m. trying to read paragraphs that my eyes are tired to look at.
So that's what's
over these people. I cover them for,
and all the red lines for the Wu stuff.
A couple hours on what's that?
And all the red string from the Wu stuff. You weren't here earlier. Stuff. Never mind.
There's red string.
I forgot you left.
What the heck are you talking about, Tom?
We were talking about earlier. He asked if I was offered WooBucks, and when I said yes, he just disappeared from chat. And then I asked him a question, and he wasn't there. And so then I was like, "Oh, he heard that I got offered WooBucks, and he disappeared. He's probably typing furiously." And people said, "Yeah, he's got red string all over the place."
You said you didn't want to take him. I was just curious if it was actually on offer for you. I have no idea who was offered that. It doesn't really matter, and it would have been PV bucks anyways. It wouldn't have been from Woo. No, I don't obsess over these people at all. Origin, you're mistaken. I cover them like anybody else does. Like Tom's covering a conversation between me and Counterpoints here. Is he obsessed with me? No, I'm pretty sure it's just that's how his channel runs. He
oh, really?
Things.
You mean to tell me that if I were to look at all of Tom's content, I would see him talk about Brianna Wu every 5 minutes, every other day,
a few streams
constantly
covering me.
Say it again.
I am obsessed with you.
I just. Okay, Tom covers different stuff to Sunday. I mean, Tom doesn't even stream every day.
From me.
From who?
From who? What do you mean from who?
He's saying I cover him. President Sunday is saying I have a lot of streams covering him.
Yeah, he has videos covering me all over.
Oh, when was that, Tom? I actually haven't been watching you much lately.
I think this is the first time in a couple months that I've covered
Origin,
him.
how many?
A couple of months. There you go. But how long have you been watching Wu for the past year? Year and a half, actually.
Are you saying I've been watching Wu for the past year?
Yes, Sunday. I'm talking to
yeah,
you. How much have you been covering Wu?
Tell how much I've been here and there, fairly frequently. She's been good source of content for a little bit.
What do you mean by that? Good source of content?
she's a deeply unlikable person who's easy to poke holes in, and it's good content. And I don't like her, so it makes it extra easy.
Why focus on people you don't like who are not even like? Why her though?
Why her? Why I
yes.
Well, because sometimes she makes herself available. So, for example, the conversation with Counterpoints and Queeman was a shit show.
I mean,
this is so boring. Oh my god, fuck! I didn't mean to do that. I'm so retarded. This fucking blows.
Political scientists need.
Ultimately,
oh god, no!
You're just making money.
A political scientist, like you should be aware.
You can keep falling. You can keep falling on.
Theorist most of the time because I have a deep issue with political science. I think
we're not stupid.
What do you mean is a bullshit allegation? What are you referring to specifically, Origin? But
what do you mean by that?
So
not even like why her?
Where were we? Oh, here.
Why her? Why I
yes.
Well, because sometimes she makes herself available. So, for example, the conversation with Counterpoints and Queeman was a shit show.
I mean, it's going to be a shit show regardless. You have Queeman with anybody and Brianna Wu. And Brianna Wu's not really good with addressing people.
What made this one particularly funny was that she was muting him after he would speak for a few seconds and was just unable to respond to anything.
Oh, that's fine. I actually, if I were her, like I've said that when people do debates or panels, and if people can't help but interrupt every 5 seconds, if I was a moderator, I would mute everybody every time they did that because I think that shit is annoying. Let people actually finish a thought.
There's a reason why you don't do this, Origin. Like it takes a certain personality to be able to kind of stomach this kind of thing and do it well, and it's not for everybody. It's stressful.
Well, I don't do it because it's not my career and it's not something I'm going to make my career. I'm just saying if I did do it, that's what I would do.
I don't know. I see you in a lot of drama channels just constantly popping off everywhere. I think you're actually pretty invested.
Oh yeah, I've told many times that I'm invested in the case that every time I see you pop up making more bullshit allegations and constantly attacking people for no reason and trying to ruin reputations over bullshit evidence.
What bullshit allegations I've been making lately, Origin?
We already know, Sunday. We don't need to go over this, buddy.
Well, I am just curious though. Can you
like the fact that you are acting like what is this? Like, what do you mean? Like you're curious, like. Dude,
this is
stupid.
What do you mean is a bullshit allegation?
I actually just cannot listen. This Origin guy is I thought Tom was a charisma black hole. Origin is the next fucking level, man.
What are you referring to specifically, Origin?
Tom, is he this stupid?
It's a simple question, Origin. Do you know? Can you name one?
Say it again. Name one what?
Can you name one allegation?
You went over one earlier, buddy. Like, did you forget it?
Yes. Help me recollect.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Okay. Anyways, in answer to your
Exactly,
question,
Sunday.
Origin, if you'll look on Tom's screen right now, that's kind of helpful. You'll notice that first word. Can you read that for me?
I'm not reading his screen because
Can I
the
read it
other
for you?
thing.
Well, I'll read it for
Sure,
you,
I
yeah.
mean if you
All right.
can, but you're going to be wasting your breath because it's not relevant to what we were talking about.
It is a little bit. So just listen for 1 sec. It's very short. Often, political scientists need a master's degree in political science, public administration, or a related field. Hear that?
Yeah, I did. And again,
Did you hear that?
totally.
Did you hear that first word?
Yes, often.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means most of the time.
What does most of the time mean?
Dipshit, I know what you both know what that means. You don't need
We
to
do,
keep asking
but
me.
spell it out.
over that.
Means not all the time.
Okay, Sunday one.
Not all the time. Thank you. Now, if by the way I wanted to work for the Canadian government as a political scientist, it would basically be all the time unless I got some kind of special permission for it, which I have no idea if that's physically possible. But
Dude.
Still, you shouldn't call yourself a political scientist.
I'm going to continue to because I'm not worthy of a higher title yet.
No, you shouldn't call yourself that because it's just not true.
I actually prefer political theorist most of the time because I have a deep issue with political science. I think political science is a deeply fraught field. I think it's kind of a dead-end field, as a matter of fact.
You could just call yourself a thinker. I mean, that right there is actually pretty neutral, and it seems pretty fine. I mean, everybody.
Yeah,
thinks.
but I don't think very much. That's how you do political science.
Well, I mean, thanks for, I guess, enlightening us for the truth there.
Oh, you're welcome. Origin, you have an issue with me being obsessed with people. Quite a lot of people, in fact. You had a list earlier. One wonders how I have the time, but I do notice you are constantly talking about me to the point where it's a little
And I've already
weird.
explained this. I already explained
And
this.
you're spending money on it as well. You're losing money literally just to go to tiny. I think we have 74 concurrents at the moment. Tiny streams just to rage about me. And I do have to wonder, why am I so important in your life?
Well, first of all, it's a few bucks for one streamer, so I mean that's not like $1 million or
Well, you
so.
spent
I can
about
understand.
You spent about $120, $40 tonight. No,
No.
no. Did you
What?
not give? Did you not give Mantis $100?
Oh, he didn't actually
Not
give her
what?
$100. I was joking about that. Sorry.
Oh, you
That
were
was a
joking.
joke.
Oh, that's too bad. I was all excited.
Well, I would never do that because you asked me to do it. So there's that issue. So, and second issue,
Yeah, you're too smart.
I've
for me.
explained many times why I feel the need to call you
I
out.
mean, it's just Sunday coming in here and mocking people that are just way less likable than him. I mean, there's nothing even being said at this point. It feels like it's just.
Whenever I see your name pop up in any space, because you're a dangerous force in these spaces. You're a dishonest liar. You will go after people's
Something's
reputations,
dangerous.
and you seem to have no ethical principles whatsoever. You will go
Dangerous
after them for
man.
the pettiest of reasons, and we all know this. Like, it's not like I need to come in here and actually explain everything of what you've done. Like, we see your videos. We watch them. We've seen everything you've done, and you'll continue to do it. So you coming in here is pretty much a waste of your time ultimately, because not
Well,
just
sounds like
a
it's
waste
more a
of my
waste
time.
of. Sounds like it's more a waste of your time. See, I'm
Sunday's
money
like the
doing
Joker when you
This
think about
helps
it.
me.
Okay.
I don't know what you're
Exactly, and there you go. That's
But-
also why
but
this is ultimately a scam, because you make money doing this, which is ultimately, you call yourself a political scientist, even though you're trying to get an air of superiority over people, but
Oh
ultimately
God, no!
you're
If
just
anybody
making
calls themselves
money.
A political scientist, like you should beware.
you can
They
keep
have-
falling. You can keep falling on that little, like, oh, I'm not really. No, you can stop falling on that because you're not fooling anybody.
Oh, I've been doing that long in
Because you
advance of this
always-
conversation. Don't worry. But
You always
what I was-
pretend you're better than everybody, and now you're just like, oh, well, actually, it's not really that big. It's like, we see your behavior, dipshit. We don't
No,
need
well,
to fucking hear you.
there's two responses to that right off the bat. The first one is I'm not pretending, but the second one is political scientist is once again just a description of an activity I started my channel doing. I don't use it as a credential. In fact, I say very frequently and have very frequently in the past. Yeah, this is not me saying I'm an expert. This is actually kind of saying the opposite. This is just an activity.
This emoji background has to go. What is this retarded shit, man? The emoji shit is so dumb. I genuinely thought this was a joke.
I don't use it as a credential. In fact, I say very frequently and have very frequently in the past. Yeah, this is not me saying I'm an expert. This is actually kind of saying the opposite. This is just an activity that I do as part of my research and as part of my like content.
Well, I will guarantee you this. I'm not as obsessed with you as you think I am, because if I was, I would probably scour every single video you've ever made and every single stream you've ever done to look for those. So I'm not doing that whatsoever. So
that'd be very weird. But I can't help but notice, though, Origin, that you changed your wording a little bit. See, you just mentioned that I go after people's reputations, but earlier in the chat, you were saying I go after people's personal lives. Can you elaborate?
You already... How much longer do you want to continue this conversation, by the way? Just curious.
But I am curious. I am curious. You did say I go after people's personal lives. And I would like to know what you were referring to.
I mean... Tom, is he really this stupid, Tom? Is he really this retarded?
I don't know why you're asking me.
Can you answer?
Tom, help me out here. Is he really this stupid? Tom, back me up. Dude, it's so pathetic when people do this.
Can you answer the question, Origin? Are you capable of answering the question?
You might be.
I'm capable, yeah, but it's just funny that you're asking me that question as if you have no idea. Like what?
Well, then just answer it. It's so easy. Just answer the question.
As if you are just completely innocent.
I'm not convinced that you have any idea. Can you convince me?
Tom, he's dumb, huh? Not like us, right, Tom? Tom here, fan, right? Right, Tom? Tom?
The fact that you think you're very convincing in this is really not working, dude.
Name one person.
We're trying to hit the Mama Max Spencer. Tell them how you felt.
Person whose personal life I've gone into. This should be easy. Name one.
Tom, I mean, not Tom. Sunday, I'm not playing your game, dude. I'm
not playing your game. Answer the fucking question. It's a very simple question.
We all know we already know these answers.
Tom,
he's asking. He doesn't know the answer. He's asking you for the answer.
What?
See, Tom doesn't seem to know the answer. Origin. Whose personal life have I dug into? Simple question. You made an accusation. You should be able to substantiate this much.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a little caught up on personal life, because I think a lot of people would say that, like, going and emailing.
Oh, I invite Origin to use whatever definition of personal life he likes,
or pulling up a Facebook that has her
Origin
personal
to use,
information.
Yeah, Tom, I get it. But I invite Origin to use whatever definition of personal life he wants. Whose personal life have I dug into, Origin? You're awfully quiet.
Dude. Is this guy muted his mic to cry? What's going on here?
To use whatever definition of personal life he wants. Whose personal life have I dug into, Origin? You're awfully quiet. Still with us?
Sunday. Are you
like 650 yen? Cool. Thank you.
You're awfully quiet. Still with us?
Sunday. Are you like dumb? I already answered your question. I said I'm not going into this with
Origin.
you.
We've already established. I call myself a political scientist. I'm so stupid. Please help me.
So pathetic.
Whose personal life have I dug into?
So weak. Come on, bro. Stand on it. Stand on it, bro.
I mean, you did say we wanted to hold his feet to the fire. I'm here for it. We do. We would have to
hold his feet to the fire.
My feet are cold. I'm chilly here, Origin.
Warm me up, Origin.
Hold on, Sunday. Tom, I said I wanted to ask him about his.
It's called the origin of logos.
That was
Logos is speech, Origin. You're supposed to talk.
No.
You're like the terminus of logos.
No.
Is that what that would be?
No.
Okay.
And one? And anything at all? One name. Make one up. You said there were lots, right? There's Wu, there's Kyla, there's Destiny, there's who's left? You mentioned Jenny Matrix for some reason. That's a weird one. Who am I obsessing over? Whose personal lives have I dug into? Or do you want to take that back?
I'm not taking anything back, but I already answered your question. I'm not playing the game with you.
But not really though. I would like to hear one name. Whose personal life have I dug into, Origin?
This is fucked. It's just... Dude, this is like watching like kids on the playground. You know, one's got like the other's arm behind their back, just like twisting it. Like they said some rude shit to him, like take it back, and the kid on the floor is just like crying but refusing to take it back. You know, that's how this is going right now. Yeah, I don't want to break your arm. I don't want to break your arm. Look at Tom's face. Dude.
Origin, Tom's in distress. Whose personal life was I digging into? whose personal life was I digging into, Origin? Come on. Distributist, academic agent?
Tom's cringing so bad. You got those awkward call he's had in weeks.
People are watching. There's like 73 people here watching.
He talks to Mantis every
minute. You gotta have one. Chud Logic. Did I dig into Chud Logic's personal life? I texted him a very angry message when he was on vacation with his children. Did you know that?
Sure, he did. I don't think Sunday's ever dug into personal. I don't think Sunday's ever dug into a personal life. Honestly, that is true. I don't think he's ever dug into a personal life. Can we name one? Distributist. What did he do? Allegedly reported him to his university and got him fired because of Pinochet helicopter jokes being made on Twitter. I think that's the strongest anti-Sunday characterization of that story. That's not his personal life. He was linked to... That's his professional life, and it was directly linked to his online life because he showed his book. Erudite. That's all about her credentials. That was about her credentials in the university. They claim personal life because the person Sunday ended up emailing was Erudite's supervisor at the time. But that wasn't because Sunday was looking for Erudite's supervisor. Sunday just emailed like the help desk at the uni, and that's who it ended up taking him to. The distributist. Who's the distributist versus academic agent? I don't even know. What did Sunday do with the distributist? I don't know. And Charlie didn't go into his personal life. He was just like saying that DK needed to be fired and that Chud was like a danger and needed to be banned or some shit. I don't know. But that wasn't personal life.
Brianna Wu? Did I dig into Brianna Wu's personal life?
I mean,
here's what I want you to
interested.
Do, okay?
I would.
I want you to. Here's Origin. Here's what I want you to do. Okay, just on a completely different key. I want you to go get an estimate for how much we need to fundraise to get you the therapy that you need because this is getting unwell. Okay, and
no.
we'll get you fixed. You have a good night, guys.
It's not good to use therapy as an own on people, guys. You should go get therapy. Don't let him stigmatize.
Shut up,
therapy.
Shut up,
make you crazy or.
Shut up, Tom.
Anything bad.
I mean, I answered him. I'm not playing that game with him where he's just like, "Oh, what?"
I'm not playing that game. No, dude, you fucking choked.
Going after name one. It's like we already know the answer. Like,
what's the answer then? Give the answer.
He plays this.
He's gone. Give the answer.
Well, I understand why he does it. He wants easy views.
Well, give the answer.
He thinks that this is all life is. Ultimately,
give the answer then.
Let's make Origin look stupid, or let's make let's
doing that yourself. No need for Sunday there.
Make anybody look stupid. It's like I'm not answering him not because I don't have an answer. It's because I'm not playing this stupid ass game he's doing. It's just like it's obvious. What a fucking idiot.
Fair enough.
And I said I wanted him to answer that question about the political scientist thing. I didn't say I want to come in here to roast everything about him. So that's a bit of a misspoke on your part, Tom.
I mean, I think we should have roasted everything about him. I'm here for it.
I mean, we already did. He pretty much just weaseled out on the political scientist thing.
Well, listen, Jay Stalk and President Sunday both said that Boots was too good for DK. There were old, I think they're gone now because Jay Stalk had his DGG logs wiped. But there was a message Jay Stalk put in DGG where he said, why is Boots so cute? Boots is too cute to be with that DK schizo or some shit like that. And then the smash it emoji. The one where it's Mr. Mutant smashing the desk. That's... He stands on that too. He stands on that.
Thing. I mean, that's utter horseshit. I don't care what he says about, well, anyone can call themselves a political scientist. I'm like, if that is, like, if he's actually selling that on people right now, then I don't know how anyone can buy into his bullshit. Like, anybody. Like this is just absurd. Or I can call myself a political scientist. It's like, no, I can't because I don't actually have the credentials or the history of actually doing that. He's just a fucking lying sack of shit who does this because this is how he makes people think he's more intelligent than he is.
Well,
wow, this guy sounds really cut up about
it. Then, well done.
He sounds really upset about this.
Yeah, I don't play those stupid little games that he does because it's pointless.
Wow, you're cool.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Anything else?
Well, anyway, you have a good night, Tom. Yeah, I just wanted to roast him on that political science thing, and as we all witnessed, he pretty much just made up bullshit reasons. Like, oh my god, he can't say anyone's lying about credentials at this point because if that's what he's really falling on, is that anyone can call themselves a philosopher, he would not buy that for a fucking second. If I on my channel, or if you on your channel, or if anybody else on their channel said that I'm a political scientist, but they didn't say that therefore I'm an expert, they just called themselves that, he would be down their throat within a second, and you can bet that.
All right, fair enough.
All right, well, you have a good night, Tom.
Appreciate it, man. You too.
But Sunday wasn't even really on Tom's case about the linguist stuff. He didn't like go crazy at Tom for that. He just said it was like kind of like, retarded that he was calling himself a linguist. It's not like Sunday was going at him like he went at Erudite, or going at him like woo. What is Origin's basis for this? His issue with Erudite is that she claimed to have a specific qualification that she didn't have. Political science isn't a specific qualification. I just don't. The hypocrisy argument just does not work here, I don't think, at all. Oh, we showed some of Origin's channel earlier. Yeah, exactly. He pressed him a little bit on it on stream and then was just sort of like, okay, moved on.
The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against to the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. Let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights and one-night cheap hotels, and sawdust restaurants with oyster shells. Streets that follow like a tedious argument.
What's with the gay vocal fry he keeps putting on?
Of insidious intent.
To
lead you to an overwhelming question.
Fucking homo, dude.
Oh.
Turn off the vocal fry.
What is it? Let us go and make our visit. In the room, the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo. The yellow fog that rubs its back upon the window panes. The yellow smoke that rubs its muzzle on the window panes. licked its tongue into the corners of the evening.
All right, man.
Lingered upon the pools that stand in drains. Let fall upon its back the soot that falls from chimneys. Slipped by the terrace, made a sudden leap, and seeing that it was a soft October night, curled once about the house and fell asleep. And indeed there will be time for the yellow smoke that slides along the street, rubbing its back upon the window panes.
People watch this? Nope. It's got 68 views. No one watches this.